Valley Talk on News Talk 1580 KGAL.
Here we go, Valley Talk. I'm Dave Adams. Glad to have you with us today. And how are you doing? I'm doing good. And we do want to remind you to sign up for the Taste on Us Quiznos sandwich giveaway that we do here during every Valley Talk. And you can sign up for that. In fact, we've got a Quiznos sandwich right here. Smells so good. Thanks to Dale and the crew for doing that. You can sign up for that by sending me an email to dave@kgal.com. Put Quiznos Taste on Us on the subject line, or give a call to KGAL and say you want to be put on the Quiznos Taste on Us drawing. The number to call is 541-926-8683, 541-926-8683. And thank you for being with us on Valley Talk today. Once again, the tone of the show is a little musical. We have Isaac Andrew, who is the band director at South Albany High School, with us in the studio. And, of course, John Gibson, our environmental guru, seer and knower of all things financial and economically and so on and so forth. John, first of all, the story that we're following a lot in the news is Hillary Clinton accepting responsibility for some guffaws overseas as far as security in the embassies.
She fell on the sword. She took one for the team. Bill's bummed. The story came out today. I was listening to the news, and in exchange for Obama to pay off her campaign finance bill for the presidential election, she became Secretary of State. And now she paid the ultimate price by taking responsibility for 4 people murdered. Now, as I recall, the buck stopped, according to Truman, at the president's door. So you couple this, and here's the response I've gotten from women, okay? Here's the most thing I've gotten from women. Number one, I had 3 women. My beloved Mary was in a very abusive relationship in her first marriage. And if she watched Joe Biden do that debate, she had a visceral response of flashing back to Ernie, her first husband, who would laugh as he beat her. Now, that's not just Mary. I've had 3 women, without any prompting, say, he felt like an old ex-boyfriend that was abusive. Now you got Obama throwing Hillary under the bus. And I've had 2 women say, it's like a marriage, the woman is hurting and the man walks away. It's amazing, the response I'm getting to this. I mean, women are outraged.
It's amazing to me how many times Hillary takes one for the guys. I mean, she's always with Bill Clinton, his indiscretions, and you gotta feel sorry for Hillary.
Well, clearly this annihilates any chance.
And I'm not a fan of Hillary Clinton, by the way.
No, I'm not either. I'm not at all. But you have to understand, she was going to run for president at the end of this next term. That's gone. How can you run for president after you take the blame for 4 murdered Americans in a terrorist attack? How can you run for president? So she threw her whole future. I don't quite understand why she would fall on the sword like this. And what I'm waiting for is someone like David Petraeus, because now we have basically said the CIA is impotent. When is somebody going to get their haunches up and go, okay, you know what? I'm ready to talk. And you know what we're waiting for are the phone calls. There was a rapid response team 2 hours away. I forget what town, but in a different country. There was a rapid response team. Now, there are phone calls from that ambassador, probably to the White House, saying we are in trouble.
Send help.
Now, where are those? Now, 9/11, it took about 6 months for those cell phone calls to be released. I bet you on November 7th, we'll hear those phone cell calls, and there will be a terrified Ambassador Stevens on the phone pleading for help while he's being murdered. Now go to sleep and then fly off to Las Vegas the next day for a fundraiser. Way to go, Obama.
Okay. Obviously, you're not a big Obama supporter.
I think that this is a huge cover-up. It was a terrorist attack on September 11th. For a week, Obama and this Ambassador Rice, who should be fired, were out in front blaming some stupid video that came out in July that had 30 hits, you know? So it's a cover-up.
The sword that Hillary Clinton fell on is a huge sword. It essentially, I think, severs her political future.
So she should be fired. I mean, if she's going to take the blame, see, at least Nixon took the blame. Mm-hmm. At the very end, Nixon had the cojones to stand up and say, I'm not a crook, but I'm not going to get impeached. Okay. I'm getting out.
All right. We're going to continue to talk about this second half of the show. One of the things we do want to talk about, we're changing gears, grinding a few gears here, because we're going to the talking of politics, Hillary Clinton, embassy security, so on and so forth, to a fall carnival in concert.
Hi, Isaac.
In radio parlance, this is a terrible segment.
But we all like each other.
The transition between these two program elements grinds a few gears. But hey, Isaac Andrew. This is live radio. Thank you for coming and being a part of Valley Talk today. A fall carnival in concert at South Albany High School. Tell us what it's all about. Saturday, October 26th to 9 p.m.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we started this a few years ago, and it was called Halloween Carnival in Concert then. I tried a different name this year. Basically, the point of the event is to give families an inexpensive and kid-friendly event to come to during the October, Halloween season. 2 is to introduce a lot of young children to live music with our bands from both South Albany High School and Calapooia Middle School, and then and finally, the proceeds from the event do benefit our band programs both at South Albany and Calapooia.
We had a musician. In fact, yesterday we kind of broke format again, and we had for the entire hour, we had a classical guitarist in the studio. We played about 3 or 4 songs.
Awesome.
We talked about that. One of the things we talked about was the importance of music in schools, and he raised a point that he said, Dave, countries like Germany, Japan, and China, companies that are esteemed at having, a lot of intelligence into the people, in the scientists and so on and so forth. Those countries put a lot of value in music in schools. And he was saying that it's important for the left brain, right brain. Music, it actually helps you become more intelligent because of the way it helps you think. What do you think?
Well, I will definitely agree that there are countries out there that place a higher importance on music within their culture, and they put more resources, both manpower and money, behind that in their educational systems, and end up coming up with some fantastic music education for their students, and their kids walk away from it having a lot of skills in music and being better for it, both as a citizen and as an individual and all that stuff.
So what would you say to a school board member who's looking at the budget and he's faced with, laying off a math teacher or cutting a school music program? What would you do to argue for music?
Well, I would argue that, talking about the left brain, right brain stuff,
sure.
There's lots of research that shows that there's a high correlation between better performance in school and participation in performance music classes, whether that be choir or band or orchestra. And the research has not been conclusive that it's a causal relationship. It's hard to, I can't in good conscience say that playing music makes you smarter, but I can tell you that the kids who stick with music tend to have better grades, have better SAT scores, all that stuff. Now, I'm not in the business of music to make kids read better and do math better and, have better SAT scores. I'm in the business because I love music, and I think music is intrinsically valuable, and it should be taught to children. All children should learn music for the sake of music. That being said, it does help in the other areas because it's a lot of the elements of the brain that allow you to process and perform music is basically your language skills and your math skills and the emotional side of your brain. And so you're using, you have to divide beats, and that's all fractions in math, and you have to manipulate your instrument. So there's a ton of kinesthetic stuff going on there, and then body awareness, and then and finally the reading portion. If you're actually reading music, you're translating, you know, hieroglyphics on a page into sound in the air. So I mean, there's tons and tons of brain functions happening all at the same time, and there's not many subjects that are integrated so holistically as music is. So to the board member, I would say, you know, yes, we need to keep math, you know, but perhaps we can, you know, split these kids out and spread the math teachers, make everybody's classes a little bit bigger. Sorry, I'm dealing with that too. And then, but music is integral, and every student should have the opportunity to study music.
John, what do you think?
I think what I would say to the board member is reform PERS, and then you can have both the math teacher and the band teacher.
Okay. We're going to have a program in the future on PERS. That's going to be a very lively discussion.
Well, you know, it was 2 weeks ago Friday, or last Friday, I think, the legislature required now the counties to make a 45% increase in their PERS contributions after a 100% increase 2 years before. So now you're going to see massive layoff. You're not massive, but you're going to see teacher layoffs coming because the stimulus package, the first stimulus, which was to save and create jobs, remember the save jobs? Well, that was, you know, bailing out the school system and the police department and the fire department. That money's gone, and I'm afraid, I'm on a board of directors for a local credit union, and my advice to my other board members is things are going to get tougher, and people are going to start being laid off. So as we make car loans, we need to be aware of the fact that there's this huge budget deficit, and the only way to get around it now is to now lay people off. And the board members that I'm on there with, they're teachers, they're policemen, they're firemen, they're medics, and I have to look them in the eye and go, you know, you're in jeopardy of losing your job, sir. I mean, I'm sorry. There's just so much money going out and so little coming in that with PERS, it's just going to destroy the budget, and it's innocent people like you that are going to be unemployed. I mean, why can't we talk about that? You know?
We should.
Okay, well, we are going to have to talk about that in the future. So, South Albany High School Fall Carnival and Concert, as we try to kind of stay on this topic for a little bit, and I keep digressing, sorry about that. Saturday, October 20th, 6 to 9 p.m., South Albany High School Cafeteria and Gym. Showtime, 6 p.m., family fun, carnival games. You're going to have costumes.
Yeah, not only... I want all the audience to come in costume. You don't have to come in costume, but, you know, we want all those little kids and all their families, all their parents and grandparents, you know. Everybody can come in costume. There's going to be costume contests at the carnival with different age brackets. But all the bands will be in costume as well, and we're playing some really fun music. This is the first time that we've done it with the middle school combined with the high school. So it's been the high school band performing before, and this time I brought my middle school over because I teach at both South Albany and Calapooia. So it's going to be a lot of fun. We're playing, what are we playing? Gosh. Selections from Night on Bald Mountain by Mussorgsky. That was in Fantasia. We're playing a piece called The Headless Horseman, which is a depiction of, I think it's Irving Washington's short story about the Headless Horseman. It's kind of a musical tone poem of that. Playing a great tune called Tunes That Go Bump in the Night, which is a compilation of all these classical pieces like The Sorcerer's Apprentice and Chopin's Funeral March and all this fun stuff. And one of the big closer that we're going to play is from the high school band, and it's called... It's a compilation of Danny Elfman's scores, and it's like Beetlejuice and Tales from the Crypt and Edward Scissorhands and Spider-Man and like all these great Elfman scores, and it's called Music for a Darkened Theater. So it's just, you know, lots of fun music, and that starts at 6. The concert's at 6, and then right after we're done with the concert, we open up that's in the cafeteria. Right after that, we open up the gym, and there's a fun carnival with all the fun stuff.
So you have some classical music in there. Is it hard? When I think of kids and music, the first image that comes to mind is that movie with Tom Cruise where he's the rock guy and he just is totally whacked out. That when I think about kids in high school and music, I'm thinking air guitar and rock and roll and so on and so forth. And you're listing, you know, this classical music that the kids are playing. Yeah. Do they enjoy that?
Oh yeah. I mean, I
Or are they just jumping around playing air guitar?
No. These kids are seriously studying their instruments. I wish some of them would practice more. But no, they're serious about studying their instruments. They're playing trumpet and bassoon and tuba and percussion, and not drums, like percussion. Like they're doing all the mallet keyboards and timpani and bass drum technique and snare drum technique. It's not just rocking out a drum set, which we do in jazz band and rock bands, and pep band, stuff like that. But yeah, the kids, honestly, I don't know what it is, but most of the time the students are very open to what I put in front of them, and a lot of times they're very excited about the music that I choose for them. And I do ask for some student input. I have a band council at the high school, and a lot of thought goes into what literature I choose for the students to study and to perform.
But you're also doing Edward Scissorhands and things like that.
Sure, yeah, the movie music, yeah. But and that's what's cool. Like our generation, the general populace of America, the most classical music they hear is in film scores. That's with big orchestras and classical style of composition, but they're going to see the big blockbuster movie, and they're hearing a 90-piece orchestra performing the soundtrack to it. And
all right,
that's essentially classical music.
When we come back, we're going to talk about Opus 7.
All right.
Now you're involved in that. That's a group of band directors.
It's a jazz combo, and the majority of us are band and choir directors here in the Greater Albany Public School District.
More about that when we come back in a moment. And don't forget to sign up for the Quiznos Taste on Us. Send me an email, dave@kgal.com, or give a call to KGAL, 541-451-KGAL, or 541-926-8683. And Valley Talk right here. We'll be back in just a moment.
Going out to lunch at a nice restaurant can be expensive, and the big portions put you more in the mood for a nap than a productive afternoon. Mama's Fine Italian to the rescue. The small appetite senior menu is just right. Anyone and everyone is invited to order from the Light Appetites menu for lunch from 11 to 4 p.m. with tasty entrees beginning at only $3.95. Why go hungry or go anywhere else for lunch? Eat healthy, eat light at Mama's. Closed Sunday and Monday, so make the most of Tuesday through Friday and join your friends at Mama's for lunch. Dinner only on Saturday. Mama's features charbroiled steaks every day. Make reservations for dinner or pick up a bottle of fine wine. Seating is limited, so please call for reservations. 541-451-5050. That's 451-5050. Mama's Fine Italian and Wine Shop on West Oak between Main and 2nd in Lebanon, across from the big blue Napa Auto Parts building.
When you look out across Willamette Valley, you'll see plenty of banking choices. But we're here to give you an option that's pretty unique, like no other in fact. Hi, I'm Dave Wood, President and CEO of Willamette Community Bank. We provide an alternative to large national and regional banks by offering customized financial services and local decision-making to benefit local people, local families, and local businesses. How many banks can say that? Willamette Community Bank, service like no other, we promise. Member FDIC.
Now I'm getting clicks on my website.
My business is coming up first in search engine results.
Use the internet to make your business succeed. Find out how. Attend a free online marketing seminar with Yellow Book 360. Register at ybseminars.com.
I trust Yellow Book 360 with all my marketing needs.
This seminar is worth every minute.
Don't miss out. Attend a free online marketing seminar at ybseminars.com. That's ybseminars.com.
Family owned and operated since 1979, Crabtree Auto stresses the small stuff when it comes to maintaining your vehicle. An oil change every 3,000 miles is a small thing now, but adds up to big rewards down the road. For only $26.95, you can have an ASC certified auto technician give your car a real oil change. Rotate your tires, check your brakes, and do a full maintenance check. Crabtree Auto can help your vehicle maintain its reliability beyond 200,000 miles. Stop by Crabtree Auto today on Hill Street, just south of 9th in Albany.
Do you like to fly, or would you like to take lessons? Hi, I'm Dan Miltberger. Owning your own plane can change your life. Would you like to own a share of 2 planes? I have formed an LLC that owns 2 172G Cessnas. With the LLC, you can share the basic expenses of owning an airplane with other owners. You can fly to Newport in 30 minutes, and Boise is 3 hours. Call 541-926-9477. Again, that is 926-9477.
Jim Bohannon, weeknights on News Talk 1580, KGAL.
This is Valley Talk. I'm Dave Adams. John Gibson is with us. And here in the last half of the show, we're going to be going back to the worldview kind of side of things, the economy, Hillary Clinton, what's going on in the political race.
We have a debate. Tonight,
let's talk about that. Let's finish up, though, with Isaac. Now, before the break, we promised that we were going to talk about Opus 7 and also some other things you've got going on. Isaac Andrew, by the way, is the band director of South Albany High School.
And Calapooia Middle School.
And Calapooia Middle School.
Yeah, so never a dull moment working with middle schoolers in high school. I'm in a band in a jazz combo called Opus 7, and we actually have 8 members. Funny enough, but the majority of us are band and choir directors within the school district, and it's a lot of fun. We play for weddings and corporate events and benefits and bar mitzvahs. We always mention that one.
Really?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'm not sure if we actually played at a bar mitzvah, but we always throw.
Are you Jewish?
I bet you would if you could.
We would if we could. Yeah.
Are you Jewish?
I'm not Jewish. No. My name is Isaac. My name is Isaac.
Oh, we don't profile here, man.
Hala, kila, hala.
I actually played in a Mexican banda in Los Angeles, and we had a mambo. A banda is a Mexican band. It's not mariachi. It's all brass and percussion. It's a different style thing. But we had a tune called Mana Swaichit's Mambo, and it was like a funk version of Hava Nagila.
Bar mitzvahs are great for everybody except the honored guest.
Yeah.
There you go.
So that's a lot of fun. But yeah, so we're a bunch of teachers. We also have so who's in it? Let's see. Isaac Andrew. I play the tuba and I play the bass, upright bass, and electric bass, and some tuba. And then we have Frank Craig. He's the director at Timber Ridge. He plays drum set and percussion. I'm blanking out. Leanne Wind is our singer and our vocalist. She teaches choir at North Albany. Also at North Albany is Andy Nelson, and he plays tenor saxophone and clarinet. We have Stuart Welsh playing trumpet. He's the director at West Albany High School. And I think that covers the teachers. We also have a guy named Gary Rolls, plays fantastic guitar. He lives out in Lebanon, has a recording studio, and our regular keyboard player is an electrical engineer at his name's Corey Reitz, and he's electrical engineer at Silverleaf Electronics. And there's one more person I'm forgetting. It's going to come back to me in a minute. So
the owner of our radio station, Charlie Eats, is a very accomplished musician.
That's right. Charlie plays great clarinet, and I've played with him before in the Albany German band. Love those gigs.
He looks great in a kilt.
Yeah. We ought to find a picture of that and put it on the website.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think we need to do that.
Charlie,
we're going to get in serious trouble here.
That's right. I'm fired.
There we go. So, Opus 7, when you get together as teachers and play, do you ever find the students come and really critique you? Okay, I'm going to tell the teacher where they've messed up.
We do invite our students to gigs because they always want to know when we play, but I don't think they usually come up and say, Mr. Andrew, that was so awesome, I can't believe that, because they're not used to seeing, professional level live music right here in Albany. There's not a whole lot of it happening. We want to encourage more of that, and so the students always love to see us play.
I always heard that my favorite saying was music is the space between the notes.
Absolutely.
Isn't that a great saying?
This morning I said the notes on the page are not the music. The music comes from inside of you.
Yeah.
Music is the theme of, at least for the start of this week anyway. Yeah. When do you play next with Opus 7 or some of the other groups?
I don't know our next gig. There's not a ton of venues in Albany, unfortunately, that are friendly to a larger combo. Because like I said, we have 8 people, and when you get drums and bass and guitar and piano and 4 horn players, then it gets really crowded on a tiny little stage.
Yeah.
So I'll have to email you guys when we have our next gig. I am taking part in a gig on November 30th with a new group. We're just putting it together, and I don't have a name for it yet, but it's an experimental group I'm doing. It features, I'm going to be playing tuba. That's my main instrument. That's what I have my degrees in. I'm going to be playing tuba. We're going to have a guitar player named Chris Ariano. He teaches lots of blues classes here in town. Keyboard player named Jacob Potter. And then I'm working on getting kind kind of a world and hand percussionist guy named Kevin Van Walk. So we're going to be playing Sweet Red's Bistro on November 30th. It's a Friday night at 7 p.m. So it'll be interesting. Lots of jazz standards, but also some Latin stuff and some kind of funky grooves and world grooves.
What's the hardest part about being a music teacher, especially at 2 schools?
Oh, goodness. I'm not sure if you have time for this. No, honestly, I love my job, and I have fun at my job. I can honestly say that I really enjoy my job, and it's really fun.
Here comes the butt.
I don't think everybody can say that they are looking forward to work because they're going to have fun today.
Yeah.
You know? And I have fun every single day working with my kids. You know, there are moments of frustration for sure. You know, but I'm getting better at being a better teacher and being able to cultivate a better culture in my classrooms and have rehearsals be productive. And when I have a productive rehearsal, I always feel good afterwards, and the kids do too.
Not to get you in trouble, but it's always been my experience that the hardest part of any job I've ever had was the politics in the job. It's not working, not going and doing your task. That.
You know, I don't think I haven't been a part of a whole lot of drama at either of my buildings. You know, there's gripes here and there, but our principals our administrations work pretty hard at encouraging us to be collegial with each other, and like Brent Belleville at South Albany, he's such a straight shooter. He says, if you have a problem with one of your colleagues, just go talk to him about it. Don't talk to anybody else about it. Go straight to them and say, hey, I got a beef with you. Well, I didn't say that. That was my translation.
I had a boss who, if you had a problem with somebody, you were to go out to dinner with them. And if you could solve the problem and get along, he would pay for dinner.
Oh, that's a sweet deal.
If you could not get along, then you both had to pay for your own dinner.
I would start making problems just to get free dinner.
I never had to do it, but I thought that's a pretty cool idea, you know?
Yeah. So I haven't had too much office politics and everything at my jobs, and I'm really happy about that because, you know, we're there for the kids. And so many of my colleagues are just so focused on giving the students the best education possible with the resources that we have. You know, it's really fun to work with a group of people like that and in an environment so focused on our clientele, which is the students and the parents. That's really cool. To answer your question, the hardest thing about my job, well, I don't like being at 2 buildings because I got to leave one and go to the other. I got 2 inventories to take care of and 2 music libraries. And I do like working with both age levels. It's taken me a while to understand that you can't teach middle school like you teach high school. It just doesn't work.
Okay. Right. So. You've seen the show Mythbusters on cable, right?
Oh, yeah.
All right, we like to bust myths here. What's a myth, popular myth for a high school band teacher that we're going to bust?
Oh, goodness. Well, I'm a tuba player, so the myth is that the fat kids always play tuba and that the tuba only plays oompa.
Busted.
And since we're on radio, I will just say, even though I'm underweight, you're almost lighter than I am, so you are not the fat kid.
Yeah, so I'm a pretty slender guy. When I was playing in that Mexican band, there were a lot of larger dudes in the band, and they see the skinny white guy walk in with the sousaphone, and they're like, "What's this gringo doing here?" You know. And then I, if I could play tuba for you sometime, I'll definitely show you that the tuba can be pretty nimble and lyrical and melodious, and it doesn't just play oompas.
That's funny, because you're right. When you say tuba, I just automatically have this picture in my head of this little fat kid
playing 1 or 2 notes.
Yeah, playing 1 or 2 notes. That's right. Yeah. So, but yeah, the tuba is a really awesome instrument, and it's a large euphonium, and there's probably like 50 people right now going, "What the heck's a euphonium?" But
what the heck's a euphonium?
It's a small tuba.
Oh, yeah. This is like Bill O'Reilly.
And it literally means, I just learned this reading a pedagogical article yesterday. It literally means beautiful sound.
Oh.
Yeah.
Really?
And it has a gorgeous sound. And so a tuba is just a larger version of the euphonium.
We're going to have to make our guests bring their instruments in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I should.
I could accommodate you. I could play with you. I was 4th string cornet.
Excellent.
Boop, 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 all the day long.
All the offbeats.
Oh, God, I was terrible.
With
my
the
mom and dad,
altos.
they would make me go to the barn to practice because we lived on a farm.
You guys could play the bumper music between the breaks and the show.
You lead, man.
So South Albany High School Fall Carnival and Concert is a fundraiser. What's the money go towards?
The money that we're going to raise from this is going to our general operating fund called the Band Activity Account. That's what the office calls it. And it pays for instrument equipment repairs and maintenance. It pays for new pieces of music so that we can, buy that hot new tune that's out. It goes to paying for some of it may be diverted into our grant account, which I squirrel away money in so I can buy an instrument when one comes around at the right price. So
eBay, here we go.
Yeah.
Fall Carnival concert Saturday, October 20th, 6 to 9 p.m., South Albany High School Cafeteria and Gymnasium. Showtime is 6 p.m. in the SAAH Cafeteria. Family fun, carnival games, costumes. You're not going to go as a tuba, are you?
I'm not. I'll have my tuba with me, but I'm not sure of my costume yet. I got to figure that out really fast here since it's on Saturday.
Now, are the kids aware that they're doing this to earn money to buy stuff? I mean, you're also teaching them capitalism?
I am teaching them capitalism, We're selling discount cards right now from the high school, and I'm trying to, we got a program here. It takes money to run a program. We make some money. So,
good. That's educational.
Yeah, it is, absolutely. And so many of my musician friends, they didn't get trained in the business side of the business, and I didn't a whole lot either, and I've had to learn, I got to learn how to keep my books straight, and I got to learn how to network to get new business, and, because I teach private lessons. I teach at Oregon State University as an adjunct instructor. As a musician, you got to have a diverse portfolio of work to make it. You can't, there's not too many jobs out there that's a 9-to-5, go play your horn job.
Right.
Very few and far between. It's like getting in the NBA is getting in an orchestra or something like that. So.
The federal government needs to have a sign saying, kids, don't try this at home. Because the budgets, kids, when we have a fundraiser, we need to make more money than we spend so we can buy instruments. We can't print more money, but I digress. We'll talk about that in a minute.
If I can throw one more thing in,
sure.
Since we got some everybody listening out there, some of you may have some instruments in your house that have not seen the light of day in a while, and many of the instruments in my stock, both the high school and the middle school, some of them are older than my students. And the institutional lifespan of an instrument is around 10 years, and at that point, it should be put out to pasture, retired, and we need to bring in a newer horn so that it's not at the shop, twice a month. So if you have an instrument in your house, and it doesn't matter what shape it's in, I can give you, if you wanted to donate it to one of our awesome schools, and I work at Calapooia in South Albany, so you should come to me first. Just bring your instrument in. We can give you a tax receipt, so you get a tax write-off for your donation, and then I can take your instrument in whatever shape it's in, and if we can use it, great, and if we can't, I'll use it for parts or something.
There you go.
How can they get a hold of you?
Just contact me through either South Albany High School or Calapooia Middle School, just the front office, and that'll be.
You can just ask for Isaac.
Ask for Isaac Andrew, the band director.
The crazy guy on the radio. Isaac Andrew, band director, South Albany High School and
Calapooia Middle School.
Thank you very much. Thanks for being on Valley Talk. You're welcome to stay around for the rest of the show if you want. We're going to talk about politics.
We're very informal.
Great. Okay.
There you go. Don't forget to sign up for Quiznos Taste on Us. We've already have some people signing up here, and you can do that by sending me an email, dave@kgal.com, or call KGAL Radio at 541-451-KGAL or 541-926-8683. You'll get a $10 gift certificate. The person... We'll put all the names in the hat. We'll draw a name out at the end of the show. That person will get a $10 gift certificate, good for anything at Albany's Quiznos. And that is right next to the former G.I. Joe's location and next to Weight Watchers now.
Weight Watchers and Novaks. Yeah. How do I sign up?
There's a sandwich right there, man.
There's a sandwich right there.
You win.
But they're delicious sandwiches, so sign up, and we'll be back with Valley Talk here in just a moment.
The Osgood File, sponsored in part by Auto Owners Insurance, the no-problem people. Visit AutoOwners.com. This is Charles Osgood. Elaine Quijano sets the scene. It's 2 weeks before Halloween. Farmers in northern Illinois, to say the least, did not enjoy this past summer, says Elaine, because they had so little rain.
Vernon Stade says in his 35 years of farming in the northern Illinois town of McHenry, this year's searing drought proved to be the worst ever for his corn crop.
This should be about 6 feet high now to 7 feet, and it's really only about 3.5.
For Vernon Stade, this past summer has been in many ways a bummer, but no need now to be forlorn. It's almost over now for corn, and summer was the bottom, fall is the top.
What's bad for Stade's corn has been good for another crop.
Think big and round and orange, and I'm sure that you'll see something.
I see big pumpkins.
Pumpkins are a different story you won't want to miss. Len Quijano will be back to tell it after this. If you run a small business, I know your hours aren't just the traditional 9 to 5. So the limited hours of the post office can be frustrating. What you need is postage on demand. That's why I turned to Stamps.com. And so should you. Buy and print official U.S. postage right from your own desk with your own computer and printer. Get everything from stamps to shipping labels the instant you need them 24/7. And just hand your mail to the mailman. You don't need an expensive postage meter anymore, and you'll never have to go to the post office again. I've used Stamps.com in my office for years now, and I get so much more done now than I ever did without it. Right now, Stamps.com has a special offer since you listened to the Osgood File. It's a no-risk trial, plus a $110 bonus that includes a digital scale and up to $55 in free postage. Just go to Stamps.com, and first thing you do, click on the radio microphone at the top of the home page and type in my last name, Osgood, O-S-G-O-O-D. That's Stamps.com, and enter Osgood. Here's why Farmer Vernon Stade is happy right now, says Elaine Quijano.
Pumpkins thrive in exactly the kind of warm, dry conditions that existed this summer. So Stade's 35-acre pumpkin patch has yielded a bumper crop this year. He says this pumpkin harvest is the best he's seen in 10 years, and it's arrived just in time for the families who flock to his farm before Halloween, posing for pictures and celebrating fall with Stade's own creation, the pumpkin cannon.
Here's what Vernon says.
October is my favorite time of the year because we love having people come out to the farm. I love to see kids laughing and screaming, squealing, running through the pumpkins.
Corn was a disappointment this year, Stade will confess. But the orange cannonball says it all, Elaine. It's
a smashing success.
The Osgood File, Charles Osgood on the CBS Radio Network.
Samurai Greenhouse Supply is having Customer Appreciation Day on Saturday the 27th from 10 to 6. The industry's best vendors will be on site talking about their products and how they can help you achieve maximum yields from your indoor garden, including Sunlight Supply, Humboldt Wholesale, BioAg, Smart Pot, Oregon LED Garden Lights, Green Planet, and Aptus Plant Tech. Black Rock Barbecue and guess the weight of the giant pumpkin at Samurai Greenhouse Supply on Highway 99E in Tangent. Check online at SamuraiGreenhouseSupply.com for more details. Grow your own, it just tastes better.
The Home Depot has a new lower price on Owens Corning EcoTouch R30 15-inch insulation. Now just $11.87 a roll. It's softer and a lot easier to handle. And the new lower price? Well, that's a lot easier on your wallet. For a better insulation job, start with better insulation. Get your hands on Owens Corning EcoTouch, now only $11.87 a roll. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. U.S. only. See store for details.
We believe that even when your team is apart, it should be easy to be together. That when you can meet face-to-face, you're more likely to see eye to eye. That when everyone is on the same screen, it's a lot easier to be on the same page. Welcome to GoToMeeting, the powerfully simple way to meet and collaborate online. With one click, launch or join a meeting from anywhere. It's that easy. Visit GoToMeeting.com, click the Try It Free button, and enter promo code 45 for a free 45-day trial. GoToMeeting. Meeting is believing.
Laugh, cry, or get scared spitless with When Radio Was. Weeknights at 10 on 1580 KGAL.
This is Valley Talk. I'm Dave Adams. Glad to have you with us today. Don't forget to sign up Quiznos Taste on Us. Again, how you do that. Send me an email, dave@kgal.com. Put Quiznos Taste on Us on the subject line at the end of the show. Put names in a hat, draw one out. That person gets a $10 gift certificate. You can also sign up by calling KGAL at 541-451-KGAL or 926-8683. In the studios with us, Isaac Andrew, band director at South Albany High School and Calapooia Middle School. And that's a hard word to say.
Calapooia.
Yeah.
Calapooia.
It's a local Indian tribe.
It used to be spelled with a K, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Really? Yeah. Calapooia.
There you go. And what was the K-O-O?
I think they were down near Brownsville. That was the rivers divided the tribes.
Yeah.
All the Marys River and the Willamette and everything. That's how all this was settled.
The professor at OSU, the professor of Native American flute, Jan, what's his last name. I'm blanking out. Anyway, he's actually part of the Calapooia tribe. Yeah,
cool.
Pretty interesting.
And John Gibson also with us today. Let's talk debate. Tonight is a debate, and I think some people are going to watch just to see what happens when the other shoe falls. This is going to be a town hall-style debate, so there's going to be more than just the moderator and the two candidates. It's going to be very interesting to see the dynamics. The rank and file has a chance to speak, and it's going to be very, very interesting to see what they have to say. John, what do you think?
Well, the interesting thing, the moderator, her name is Cindy something. I don't know. I don't care. She's from CNN. They came out and they said, your job is only to ask the questions and not to interject your opinion.
Candy Crowley.
Oh, Crowley. Okay. Yeah. And she came out and said, I'm not just some stiff. I'm gonna be involved. And they came back and said, no, you will not. So it's going to be a very tame debate as opposed to the last one. But you can still, in the course of a question, of course, none of the three of us could attack each other, but any politician can find a way to take a question and attack somebody. But Romney has to come out, and he has to convince someone like Isaac. How old are you, Isaac?
I'm 30. I had to think
30.
about that.
Okay, I'm 52. Okay, I'm 52. Pretty well done everything. But he has to come out and convince you that Social Security and Medicare are going broke in the early 2020s, right? Would you be willing to either opt for Social Security or opt for a private 401k account that you would take care of, that you would manage? And Obama has to come out and say the economy is coming back, jobs are getting better. We had a kind of a skunky jobs report. I do have an opinion on that. I'd like to go for 1 second. Remember last week, it was like 800,000 part-time jobs were created.
Right.
Well, there was a CEO that came on from Darden's restaurant, Red Lobster and Olive Garden. Because of Obamacare, if you're over 50 employees, you have to buy Obamacare. So what they're doing is they're shifting all of their full-time employees to part-time, and they're working less than 30 hours a week, and that way the company does not have to provide health care. When Obama said, if you get your health care, if you like it, you can keep it, that was a lie, because any businessman like me knew that if there was a cheaper way to get around something, I'm going to do it. And so I think that's where that number came from. Now, nobody else said it, and I'm not an economist, so I'm not going to stake my reputation on this. But I think you're going to see a massive change from full-time employment to people going to part-time employment and losing their health care. And then
we've already seen that to a big extent.
Mm-hmm. And then they're going to have to go out and purchase the government health care plan that so far people think's free, but it's not. And if you don't purchase the plan, you are in violation of the IRS tax code, and there is a tax penalty, and if you don't pay the tax penalty, then you go to jail. So if you voted for Obama, this is what you got. And the only thing that makes me feel better, because I'm getting screwed, is that the people that set this up are getting screwed.
Okay. Now, you and I, John, you and I are both 52 years of age, and Isaac, you're 30, right?
Yeah.
Okay. God, I envy you.
All right, so you've got a few more years left on the candle than we
Hopefully.
do. What are you looking for in the debate tonight?
Excuse me. I would like to see the fact checkers not have a lot to say. I watched the last debate, and I was really excited about it. I'm kind of a nerd, I'll admit. And I was more excited about the debate than I was about most football games. I was like, hey, let's invite some friends over and get some chicken wings and watch the debate. My neighbors are like laughing at me, but they're like, actually, that sounds really fun. But I watched the debate, and as I was watching it, and I listen to the news, and I like to follow this stuff. I'm kind of a political junkie. I'm not super well. I'm not an expert by any means. So I'm watching the debate, and I'm like, and they say stuff, and I'm like, is that true? And so I'm looking forward to the fact-checking reports to say, and then we get done with the debate, and the fact-checkers have all the stuff to say, and I'm like, well, shoot, so who's telling the truth, who is talking about this and that, and I would just like the candidates to be as factual as possible and not try and spin stuff in their favor, but just actually speak the facts and lay out their plans in a factual manner and not make up numbers about their opponents and stuff like that. That's what I would like to see, so that I can make an informed and impartial decision. I know I'm asking a lot here.
What I would like to see is getting away from spiking the football. We saved GM. We killed Obama. All this.
Oh, we killed
Osama. Remember Osama? I'm sorry, Osama bin Laden.
Secret Service. That was slip of the tongue.
Slip of the tongue. That was almost worse than the F-bomb. But, when John Kennedy, and I was 3 years old when John Kennedy was killed, and bless his soul. But he said, ask not what your country can do for you. What can you do for your country? Right. Can we get back to that, please? And I really think Paul Ryan portrays that. I've always wanted a businessman or a businesswoman as a president, because they know how to write the checks and they know how to balance the budget. And I always wanted a smart guy that didn't have polish on him. And Paul Ryan looks to me as a guy that just knows the numbers. He's like me. He knows the numbers. He's pretty ugly. He's pretty boring. But
he's buff, right?
But you can't fight the facts. And the man knows the numbers. So I don't know. I mean, I know I'm conservative, and I know that I'm a Republican since 9/11. But I wasn't enthused about McCain. I like Sarah Palin. I mean, I liked her a lot, and I think Bill Maher is probably the worst person on the face of the earth for the things that he said about her and her family. But I'm actually excited about Romney, and I'm excited about Ryan. And if we could just, I would pay more in taxes if I could see that debt clock in New York slow down, or God forbid, go the other way and get back towards zero. So that's what I'm looking for. And Obama, I'm just going to get blustered. I'm just going to get, I'm not a union guy, so I'm not an Obama guy.
Okay. One of the things I love to do is man on the street interviews, do the litmus test. One of the things I'm very excited about the debate tonight is it is a town hall style debate. The rank and file have an opportunity to speak. One of the things that happens so much in media today is the talking heads tell everybody how to think. And the thing that happens on election day is the voters have a chance to think, or to talk and to express their views. What I like to do is do man on the street and say, folks, what do you have to say? Now, I am looking at a gentleman who normally isn't in the studio, so we're going to talk about what, who you're liking, why you're liking, what you're looking for, that kind of thing. You're my man on the street.
Oh, gosh.
In the next couple of minutes. So we'll be right back on Valley Talk. Don't go away.
Tonight at Carmike 12. From 1981, a full-screen version of Shakespeare's All's Well That Ends Well. It's an odd mixture of fairy tale logic, gender role reversals, which sounds very Shakespearean, and cynical realism. Angela Down is the perfect Helena, the heroine, and Ian Charleson, Helena's very reluctant love object, Bertram. All's Well That Ends Well, the big screen treatment from the BBC. One show only, tonight, 7 o'clock at Carmike 12.
My sister did good. Hunter.
Friday at Carmike 12.
She killed her own sister. They've never found her or him.
Halloween is coming.
It's the new kid from across the street. I've never met his mom.
Friday at Carmike 12.
Yeah. Can you tell me who you were talking to? Nobody. What is that?
Looks like a triangle with a circle in it.
It says the ritual requires sacrifice. Hello?
Paranormal Activity 4. Rated R. In theaters October 19th.
Hello, I'm John Kohler from the Mennonite Village Foundation. I'd like to extend a special invitation to you, your friends, and family to join us at our 10th Annual Celebration of Community. This year's event is Thursday, October 25th at 6 p.m. in Lakeside Center at Mennonite Village. In recognition of our 65th anniversary, our theme this year is Bridge to the Future. Social Insecurity, a really great barbershop quartet, will provide the entertainment and is sure to delight you. The menu consists of slow-roasted beef brisket and all the trimmings and will be provided by Mennonite Village Dining Services. We'll finish off the meal with warm peach cobbler topped with whipped cream. This year's tickets for the event are just $65 and are partially tax deductible. You can reserve them now by calling 541-704-4248. That's 704-4248. For each ticket purchase, you'll have a chance to win an authentic handmade Amish quilt. Seating is limited, so call today, 704-4248.
Hello, this is Lynn County Sheriff Tim Muller asking you to join me in voting for Roger Nyquist for Lynn County Commissioner. While other counties around us have gone into financial meltdown mode, Roger's leadership on county budget issues have helped to ensure that the Sheriff's Office has the necessary resources to maintain the public safety. Throughout his time in office, Roger has asked the hard questions necessary to establish priorities and make the decisions that these tough times call for. Your vote to re-elect Roger Nyquist is a vote for a safe Lynn County.
Paid for by Friends of Roger Nyquist.
Skiers and snowboarders, it's big, and it happens only once a year. The annual Corvallis Ski Swap is this weekend. You can convert your unused equipment into cash, and you can pick up just about anything you need at a fraction of retail. And it's a benefit for the Santiam Pass Ski Patrol and the Corvallis Mountain Rescue. Consignments are Thursday noon to 9 and Friday 9 to 5. The sale is Friday 6 to 9 p.m. and Saturday 9 to 6. The Corvallis Ski Swap this weekend at the Benton County Fairgrounds. For info, go to corvallisskiswap.org.
You can call us lefty or you can call us righty. We just call it Smarty Talk on 1580 KGAL.
And this is Valley Talk. I'm Dave Adams. We have a few minutes left to go in the show. As I said before the break, one thing I do love to do is man-in-the-street interviews. Go up, stick a mic and a camera in somebody's face and say, hey, I want to know what you think about this. So we have Isaac Andrew, band director, South Albany High School. Of course, the opinions expressed do not reflect those necessarily of South Albany High School or the staff. We understand that.
Thank you.
But what do you think so far of the campaign? Who are you leaning towards, Isaac?
Sure, yeah. And I'm glad you mentioned that, I'm speaking as a private citizen now, not as a representative of the school district. Well, the campaign right now, I hardly ever watch TV, so I have not got to see all the plethora of negative TV ads that I heard are out there. Most of the stuff I've gotten is stuff I read online, or I listen to NPR in the morning, so I get my news from there. I did watch the debate. I was really excited about that. I unfortunately will miss the debate tonight because I'm going to be teaching at OSU. So altogether, I'm just appalled at the amount of money that has been spent, not only by the campaigns but by the super PACs and whatnot. It's just an obscene amount of cash being spent on this. But that's the way it is with inflation and political campaigns.
Can I ask you one question?
Yeah.
Okay. What is your debt to the national government? If you had to write a check for your share of the debt, what do you estimate that would be?
Oh gosh, there's so many factors that go into it. I don't think I know where
it's $51,000.
All right. You mean the national debt divided by the
by all
taxpayers?
Americans? Right. Yeah, by all. Okay. No, not taxpayers. By all Americans.
Oh, okay.
So your children.
That's a ton of cash.
$50,000 per head.
Yeah.
If you're a taxpayer, it's $140,000. Okay. So how does that make you feel? And now also understand in our savings account, we have like 8,000 tons of gold. So each American citizen has 1 ounce of gold. Yes. You know what an ounce of gold sells for?
That's like $400?
$1,700.
Oh, wow.
So we have $1,700 in our savings account and $50,000 on our Visa bill. Now, are you looking towards Ryan?
During the break,
one of the questions I asked Isaac was, who is he leaning towards in this presidential race? And you told us Obama.
Yeah. I'm leaning towards Obama. I voted for Obama last time. I was disenchanted with the Republican Party. I actually changed my registration to independent from Republican because I was just not happy with the way some of the things went in the Bush administration, and so I was like, all right, we're going to do our own thing now. And so I did vote for Obama last time. I think I'm leaning towards Obama because I think he's been doing a decent job of bringing the economy back from the brink that it was at the end of our last administration. And I think he can continue to bring it back into the light, so to speak.
I wish we had more time. So what would you say to the critics of Obama who say that the national debt is sky high and he's got to take some of that responsibility?
Well, he definitely does need to take some of that responsibility, and you can't blame it all on partisan politics. We have to find a way to work around that, or work through that. That's the job of a leader. I guess. Oh shoot! To the critics. I don't know. I'm not like a Obama champion, so I'm sorry I can't.
So your hope and change went from hope and hope. Hope and hope.
Hey, we're coming to the end of the show here. We're gonna have to wrap it up, folks. This is KGAL Valley Talk. I'm Dave Adams. Make it a good one. See you tomorrow.
Around the clock, around the world. Your first choice for information is News Talk 1580, KGAL, Lebanon, Albany, Corvallis.